First, you need to install the APIs, the camera API and the file API. It's pretty simple, just follow the instructions. This week's lesson, we're going to cover the camera API and saving it to file. For this example, we'll take last week's example with the database, and we're going to actually add an image, a camera button rather than a handwritten input text button. First, we're going to clean up the code a little bit. I'm going to remove a lot of the database code out and put it into a separate external file. This way we can organize the code a little bit more. So I'm only going to leave on device behind and a submit button or submit form behind. So with an external, I'll just paste it into this file. I'll make minor changes. I'm going to add this function here called view image. So when you click on a title, it'll bring up an image screen. So in the form, instead of the image tag here, I'm going to place a button, a regular ahref that we'll call a function called captured photo, and with a data row of button. Okay, now let's create this function. Okay, so captured photo calls the method of the camera object, get picture. This is very similar to a lot of functions with callback functions being embedded, like on success, on fail, and lastly the parameter. The quality, usually leave it at 50. Using the camera and passing image data between application usually takes up a lot of memory, so you don't want a really high quality image if you can help it. And the last parameter is we're going to use the file URI. If you look on the documentation, you can also use data. For this, we're using the file URI only. Okay, so our next callback function we should create is on photo data success. So on success, an image URI is going to be passed, and from there we're going to move the image from the temporary folder in the application and move it to somewhere more permanent that we can access. So we're going to create this move pick function. We'll also create an on fail, a quick one. So on the move pick function, we're passing in the image URI from above, and with the file API, we call this resolve local file system URI. We're going to pass in the file URI and the familiar on success and on error. Okay, so on success, an entry object is passed when the file system is successfully created. On saving the image, we're going to need a name, and usually you don't want to sit there and type out what name you want the image to be. So we'll try to create a unique name for it. So we'll use the time function to grab or to create a name. So that's what this is for, and then we add JPEG to it. And then we'll create a folder called my app folder. So this is where all the magic happens. On request file system, first parameter saying that this is a persistent file, obviously. Second parameter you don't need to worry about, leave it at 0. And the third does all the heavy lifting of moving the files. this is on the onSuccess callback function. Instead of creating another function, we just write the function right into this parameter. Saves us having to type out another function or to keep track of another function. So this is on our onSuccess. So we create a directory, and if it doesn't already exist, we create it. And these are the parameter that says it, that to create a folder if it doesn't exist. And this is another onSuccess saying that when the folder is created, move the entry or move the image into the folder. And we have another onSuccess and onError. Okay. So we'll create this success move function that's called from this directory function. So basically we're going to save the image path to a local storage so that it's pretty persistent, so we could so we won't lose the variable. This is like our global variable, so when the page changes it doesn't go away. And I'll just console log out the image path for you to see. Since we can't record video for the iPad, this is a sort of a indicator. And don't forget to include our external JavaScript that we moved out. I named it sql.js. And should be below all the jQuery stuff and above the extra camera code. So one slight change in our insertDB function. Instead of grabbing a value from an input form like we did last week, we're grabbing the local storage value of image path. That's basically the path of our image, and then saving it to this variable, and then finally putting it into the database. On our render list, instead of just a regular list, we're going to make that list linkable. In addition to displaying the title, we're going to make it on click view message. That's this function down here. And we're going to pass the parameter of the image URI. So basically, this function will then take, there's a blank image on page 3. So we're going to create a page 3. I'll just name it image view. And in the content, I'll create an image with a blank source. Give it a style if you want. So basically what the jQuery will do is plug in the source file into this blank source. So that's what this jQuery means, is to find the ID of the image and the attribute of the source, take in the URI that's been passed, and then put it as a file, and then change to page 3. Should be as easy as that. So I'm gonna run it. Obviously you won't see the iPad, but hopefully you'll see the steps. The developer debugger. So I'm going to type in the title, click on the camera link. I'm bringing up the camera, take a snapshot, click use photo. So if you can see down here with the logs, outputted the URI under mobile application, and then all the folders, and then the name of the JPEG. Okay. So when I hit submit, it's going to be a little jQuery error. Every time we switch page, this error comes up. Not sure why, or if it's relevant. We can just skip it. I see my list on my iPad. Click to show. Again, the page change triggers an error, and the image is shown. You could see it in our logs. So the image form is submitted, and these are our images. I've captured a few more images before, and that's why there's 3 of them. Okay, that's it. I'll post the code. I'll post the code on the forum for you.